Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a future, maybe not too distant, where writing code,
Hmm.
the skill people spend years mastering,
Yeah.
becomes something super niche.
Like knowing how to shoe a horse today.
Exactly. Sounds pretty wild, right? But our deep dive today suggests it might actually be, well,
We're
inevitable.
looking at a huge redefinition of what programmer even means.
And it all stems from this really insightful piece by Shipu Lee called The Last Programmers. It just came out.
Yeah, it's making waves.
So our mission today is to explore what this looks like, on the ground, what's the future of building products, and crucially, what skills do you need to focus on now?
And what's great about Lee's piece is, like you said, it's not just theory.
Right.
This is him, boots on the ground, seeing these shifts happen right now. It's like a sneak peek into the future of software development.
It really is.
Yeah.
And his own journey to this realization is pretty telling. He actually left Amazon, specifically the Amazon Q developer team, to join a startup called Icon. And you might think, okay, better job, but it was way more profound than that.
Absolutely. He talks about his time at Amazon as being, let's say, deeply frustrating.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
He felt Amazon was, in his words, losing the AI game badly, lacked product vision, had the risk tolerance of IBM. Ouch.
Bet IBM comparison stings a bit.
It does. And he says this led to a lot of internal friction, basically. Always playing catch up.
He really goes into the details, doesn't he? The slow pace.
Yeah.
Everything took forever.
Yeah, the reviews, the approvals, EPSEC, design docs, architectural boards.
He mentions competitors like Cursor, Anthropic iterating, like 10 times faster while Amazon was still stuck in review cycles.
Which is just death in the AI space. Speed is everything.
And he gives that specific example about authentication, insisting on their own builder ID instead of just using GitHub Auth, which everyone else uses.
Right, a classic case of internal metrics maybe trumping user experience.
He said users would just bounce off that requirement constantly, just
Right.
gave up.
And that disconnect, that friction, it really highlights how these big, rigid structures can just stifle innovation, especially when things are moving so fast.
Developers end up fighting the bureaucracy instead of building things people want.
Exactly, which makes his experience at Icon even more striking.
Right, so he gets to Icon, this startup, and it's a whole different world. He talks about a teammate who, get this, hasn't looked at actual code in weeks.
Weeks? How does that even work?
Well, apparently this person writes design documents in plain English and then trusts AI to actually implement it.
Okay. Wow.
And if something needs fixing, they don't edit the code. He edits the document.
So the document is the source of truth, essentially. The AI just handles the translation.
Yeah. And he describes this setup like 6 Claude Code terminal windows open at once, talking to them with something called Whispr flow-like voice commands.
So speaking the design changes, almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And they all execute in parallel. It's this incredibly fast feedback loop.
That must have been mind-blowing to witness coming from that Amazon environment.
Totally. And it led him to this huge, maybe unsettling conclusion
Which is?
that we are living through the end of an era where humans translate ideas into code by hand.
Wow, okay.
He really thinks that skill, manual coding, will soon be as relevant as knowing how to shoe a horse. Maybe just a few years away.
That's a strong statement. So code just becomes plumbing.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
An implementation detail, he calls it, like the electrical wiring behind your drywall. You trust it's there, working. You only care if it breaks.
And as he notes, with AI getting better, maybe it breaks less and less often.
Yeah, what is the developer's role then if AI does the implementing?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting because Lyle observed this split happening within his own team at Icon.
A divide.
Yeah, a divide he thinks is coming for the whole industry. And it's not really about skill, more about attitude, mindset towards programming.
Okay, tell me about these two camps.
So first you've got the experimenters. These are the folks spending their lunch breaks trying every new AI coding tool.
Always looking for the next shortcut.
Kind of. Setting up workflows to generate whole features from voice commands, basically seeing how little code they can personally write.
To a traditionalist, that might look lazy.
Exactly. Always asking, can AI do this for me, instead of just digging in.
But Lee argues against that lazy label.
He does. He says, look, isn't this just how technology always progresses? We abstract away the complexity.
Like moving from machine code to assembly, then high-level languages.
Yeah.
Each step made things easier.
Right. And people probably complain then, too. His insight is sharp. Laziness wins in technology. It finds the efficient path everyone else eventually follows.
Makes sense. So who's on the other side?
The guardians. These are the developers who believe really deeply that you must understand code at a fundamental level.
The craftspeople.
Yeah, they can spot bad algorithms, they know design patterns inside out, they understand the underlying systems, they see the experimenters as maybe building flimsy stuff.
And they're probably the ones who can actually fix the weird bugs AI spits out sometimes.
Precisely. When AI code has subtle performance issues or hits weird edge cases, you need that deep understanding. And Lee admits, honestly, they're not wrong.
Okay, so there's value there, for sure. But what are the Guardians potentially missing in this picture?
Lee's point is that while their skills are valuable, the world is changing faster than their gatekeeping can keep up with. Meaning, the standard for good enough code is dropping, thanks to AI assistance. Meanwhile, the importance of understanding users, building the right product, that's skyrocketing.
Ah, okay. So his pragmatic take. A slightly inefficient implementation that ships next week is often better than a perfectly optimized implementation that ships next month.
Exactly. You learn faster by shipping.
So this dynamic. Experimenters ship fast, maybe learn what users want quicker, even if the code isn't perfect.
While the Guardians build robust systems, but maybe sometimes miss the market window by perfecting things too much.
And Lee bets on the experimenters in the long run.
He thinks technology's relentless march towards abstraction and convenience favors them. The bottleneck shifts away from pure code quality to, well, everything else.
Everything else.
Yeah.
So if building the software itself gets easier, gets commoditized, what does that mean for the bigger picture?
It changes the entire game. The crucial question stops being, can we build this?
Because the answer is increasingly yes, easily.
Right. The question becomes, should we build this? And maybe even more importantly, how do we get people to actually use it?
The focus shifts from the technical to the human.
Totally. He uses this great analogy with the chocolate industry.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Anyone can learn to make chocolate now, right? Ingredients, process equipment, it's all available. Commoditized.
And who wins?
Hershey's, Cadbury, Lindt. The brands that master distribution, marketing, understanding what makes people buy chocolate, the actual chocolate quality. It's important, sure, but it's table stakes. Everyone has decent chocolate.
So the differentiator isn't the product itself, but everything around it?
And Lai argues software is heading exactly there, fast.
The line between software and consumer goods is blurring.
Yeah, competing on brand, distribution, psychology, not just features. He even imagines AI that could clone an app just from its URL.
Whoa.
Feed it a competitor's site, and boom! A functionally identical product in minutes.
If that happens, the software itself is
Completely commoditized. Your only edge is marketing, distribution, brand trust.
okay. So this brings us to the really critical question for everyone listening. If the technical part gets commoditized, what skills actually matter? What survives? What should you focus on?
Yeah, what's truly valuable? Like, points to 3 core things that AI isn't likely to automate away anytime soon.
Right, let's hear them.
First, understanding what people actually need. And this isn't just surface-level survey answers.
No, let's keep it.
It's what they'll genuinely pay for, what they'll use daily. It means really talking to users, watching their behavior, finding that gap between their stated preferences and revealed preferences.
What they say they want versus what they do.
Exactly. It's part psychology, part anthropology, part business sense. Super hard to automate.
Okay, that makes sense. What's number 2?
Second, knowing what to build and what not to build. This is about taste, strategy, product sense.
Saying no is as important as saying yes.
Absolutely. Recognizing which features add real value versus just noise and complexity, knowing when something is good enough to ship. Differentiating a gimmick from a core daily use feature, at least as most people are actually terrible at this.
Yeah, feature creep is real.
Yeah.
Or analysis paralysis.
Right. And the third skill,
Let me guess. Getting it out there.
bingo, getting products in front of the right people and convincing them to care.
So marketing, distribution.
Yes, but also positioning, timing, understanding customer psychology, building trust, sparking word of mouth. How do people find stuff? What makes them switch? This whole complex ecosystem.
These are all deeply human-centric skills.
You really are. Which leads to Lee's big conclusion for this section.
Because
when everyone can build software, the winners are the people who understand humans.
boom, that really cuts to the chase. It's not about the code monkeys anymore. It's about the human whisperers.
Something like that. It reframes the whole idea of technical skill.
Okay, so let's make this practical. If you're listening, whether you're just starting out, maybe learning Python right now, or you're a seasoned tech lead, how do you adapt? What do you do?
Good question. For those starting out, Lai's advice isn't don't learn to code. It's more like don't make coding your only thing.
Diversify your skill set early.
Exactly. The people who will thrive need to understand users, markets, business models. Go talk to actual users, not just other devs on Discord.
Get out of the building, basically.
Yeah. Study successful products. Why did they succeed? Look at their go-to-market, their user retention strategies, and practice explaining complex stuff simply. Translate those fuzzy human problems into clear, implementable specifications, even if the AI does the final implementation.
That communication skill becomes key. Okay, what about people already in the trenches, experienced devs, leaders?
For them, the message is maybe a bit more urgent. Understand that your purely technical implementation advantage is shrinking fast.
Your edge needs to be somewhere else.
Precisely. It has to be in that deeper user understanding, better distribution, clearer market positioning, faster learning loops, executing on the stuff AI can't do.
So what does that look like day to day for a senior dev?
Maybe spending way more time with the product team, sitting in on user interviews, actually understanding the business metrics driving decisions, bridging that gap.
And for leaders,
Yeah.
managers, VPs.
It means rethinking hiring. Look for holistic thinkers, people who can talk clearly to non-tech folks, people with strong, well-argued opinions on user experience. You need people who connect the tech possibilities to the business reality.
The writing's on the wall then. This isn't sci-fi.
No, Lear argues it's happening now. The question really is just, are you going to adapt proactively or wait until your current skills feel less relevant?
It's a stark choice when you put it like that.
And Lee's conclusion is quite profound.
Yeah.
We might actually be the last generation of people who translate ideas into code by hand.
Wow, think about that. Our kids.
Our kids might just describe what app they want, and it appears. Like using a search engine today. We don't think about the indexing algorithms. We just type and get results.
And Lee's suggests they'll look back at us manually coding, like we look at, I don't know, monks hand copying manuscripts.
Or people doing bookkeeping by hand before spreadsheets. That feeling of impressive dedication to craft, but ultimately unnecessary effort.
Oof, yeah. Bit humbling.
But the trend seems clear. The sheer investment, the talent pouring into AI, it makes this shift feel, well, undeniable.
So it's not if, it's when.
Pretty much, which brings it all back to the real question for you listening right now. Are you going to be ready? Are you focusing on the parts that always mattered?
Understanding people.
Building things they want.
Getting those things to them.
Right. Everything else. Maybe it was always just implementation details.
So as you mull over this deep dive, think about this. What part of your current essential toolkit might be tomorrow's shoeing a horse? And what are you actively doing starting today to build the skills that will truly last?
This was the Gist Podcast. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel.